Hello and welcome back to Audio Pong. Mark, how you doing today?
Hey, baby, how's it going?
It's going great. Today we got a special guest in the house, as our viewers can see, and then our listeners will soon hear. His name is Sam, or Chi-Sin, as I like to call him. He's my Taiwanese buddy from work. How you doing, Sam?
I'm doing great, baby. How you doing?
Welcome, Sam. It's good to have you, man.
All right. Thank you for the welcome. I feel very welcome here.
Good talk.
Good talk. Credits.
Roll.
Perfect, guys. I'll make it back to dinner in time.
What was the other name you gave him?
Chi-Sin. That's your Taiwanese name, right?
Mm.
Oh, that's cool. Does that translate in any way to like meaning like having a?
No, dude. I've tried to like ask my parents what it means. They're like, yeah, we went to one of our older relatives. He made our previous names and we just gave him what we wanted, and that's what we came up with. So there's no meaning whatsoever.
It sounds cool. So it's unique then.
Yeah.
It can't. That's actually
really?
cool.
So it's a wholly made up name.
Yeah,
by your
basically.
parents, too.
Kind of.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
The concept was kind of weird to me because like in English you just find like a name that you like, you just go with it.
Right.
But for Chinese you
That's
kind of
true.
just put characters together. And you're like okay,
sun and moon or something
yeah, just like random
That's way
characters.
cooler, though.
And it could mean like anything. So you could make it mean something, but for the most part my name was just built together and then my surname in front of it.
So, are there people out there that are, I don't know, are they named like ice skating or something like that?
Oh, dude, that'd be sick. I'd love to be named Big Baller.
Big Baller?
Big Baller.
How would you say that in Chinese? Or
just big baller. So
I can do big ball. Is that 大球?
大球.
真大球.
There you go. There
I
you
like
go.
that. But yeah, I gave Zach his Chinese name. My mom like kind of translated it. It's Zaku.
Zaku. Oh
It's got
yeah.
a little power to it. You know what I'm saying?
That is strong. That is strong.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Every time we see him at work, I just hear Chi-Sin somewhere. I'm like, Zaku, where you at? Look for the trees. I'm like,
it's like a bird call, pretty much. It's like I got one. All right, I'm looking for the other. There we are. We got the group here.
Yeah, it sounds like a street legend. You know what I mean? Like something that scares people.
Yeah, it does.
Zaku.
Sounds very powerful.
So Sam, all right. Well, you go ahead. You start Zaku.
All right. So you're born in America, right? But you're
Yeah.
first generation, meaning that your parents were born in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I actually have no memories of California, but I was actually born in California, in Alhambra, and then after like a year, we moved straight to Illinois, Naperville.
Oh
So
wow.
I've been living here for like my whole life, basically. But I get to say I'm a Cali boy.
For a hot year.
Yeah. I just
No.
don't mention that part.
Yeah, don't
Just
mention
happened
how
that-
long.
I grew up there.
Formative years in
Yeah,
Cali. Formative years.
Well, it's almost like there are like exiles from California in Illinois. Even now, like I know people that are moving here. So
Really?
yeah, well, actually, Illinois is trying to make a comeback in terms of like
They better
attracting
fix the
people in the
weather, bro.
state. Oh well, that's never gonna happen, man. We got the lake, dude. It's not gonna
That's
happen.
true.
It's actually not too bad. Like I used to work outside as a land surveyor and inspector, and
Mhm.
you just kind of get used to it. It makes me laugh too. Like, okay, I'm not gonna get in like a political debate unless you guys want to about like climate change or whatever, because I don't know anything about it. Yeah, I do. Well, it's just funny because like I was telling Zach the other day, like when you work outside, like none of this weather, there's no weather that surprises me. Like
Yeah.
I've seen it all. Like it just happens
Yeah, you
that
become
way.
used to it.
Yeah, you become used to it. But I'd say the worst thing about the Midwest though is the humidity. We still get it pretty humid up here, yeah,
Dude,
because we
you
have a
should
lot
go
of
to
green.
Taiwan, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it dry or humid?
It's so humid.
Dude,
like-
he hates doing me.
No, I'm saying if you think Illinois is humid,
Yeah.
like
I mean,
you should go to
for-
Taiwan.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you're in Florida?
Yeah, I mean, because Florida is pretty. That's a swamp.
never
Like
mind.
middle Florida is like.
I thought you compared it to Illinois.
Oh no. I mean, I was just saying for where you are, it gets pretty humid.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
No, Florida, I would say is the most humid place I've ever been, and it's
Yeah,
like a
it's pretty
jungle.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taiwan,
Yeah, it's full
bro.
of bugs too, so it's just like
Yeah.
buzzing around.
I feel like it's the same everywhere. As long as it's humid and it's like kind of warm, there's gonna be bugs and everything.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember when I went to Taiwan like 2 years ago for like my internship. I actually broke out so much acne because I was sweating so much oil on my face, and I would just like wash my face every time I get bad,
Oh
and
man.
it just kept getting worse, bro.
Really?
That place was too humid.
How long were you in Taiwan?
Only a month. My whole face turned into like zits.
Really?
The whole thing, bro.
For just a month even.
Your body just defending itself from all
I
the
don't even know. I can't even explain it.
Was that just how
dinosaur.
long? Yeah.
I'm scared to go back now. I'm going back this summer, and I'm scared to go back. I'm like trying to think about what skincare I need to do.
So real quick, when we say dinosaur, that's our our take.
It's like a cut.
Yeah, because
like
certain levels of volume.
Really loud.
Yeah, we
Dog
got
barking.
it's like a busy day in the house, but usually like that won't be picked up. But so if we say dinosaur, it just means we're gonna cut it. So I just want you to. Yeah, like editing.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
just so you know. So when we come back, we'll say it again. But dinosaur. So you were an intern, you said?
Yeah.
What were you an intern for?
I did like architecture in Taiwan. My dad kind of like picked up the internship for me because he just kind of had like connections in Taiwan. So the reason why I did it is like after my freshman year of college, it's kind of hard to find like internships in the U.S. They want you to have like previous experience. But the culture in Taiwan is like completely different since it's like so small and like so many different businesses that are like family run are there. A lot of people are just asking for like free work, you know what I mean? So like a lot of internships like are offered and you have a lot more opportunities, but I don't know. It was just like.
But you weren't getting paid for that.
Yeah, I wasn't getting paid.
So how did you like live? Did you just your parents had the money to help you, or did you have to do like a FAFSA kind of loan or something?
So for this, my dad actually lives in Taiwan. He has like a place there. My parents are divorced, so he has like a family there too. He has like I have 3 half brothers now, and 2 of them are twins.
Oh, that's cool.
So like they kind of appeared like really quick out of nowhere, and I was like, "Yo, these kids are kind of cute, man. They kind of look like me." You know what I'm saying? So I kind of vibed with them. I wasn't even like it wasn't like deep or anything. It was like they're cool.
Yeah.
But I stayed there. So I would go to work, commute and stuff, come back, and I'd basically just be babysitting for like 2 to 3 hours, and I'd just go to sleep.
Oh man, so you were babysitting and architecture learning.
I was living the adult life, man. I was commuting, I was working, coming back, eating a super late meal, and then just babysitting, go to sleep.
Is that a common thing that most people live that way, like young people?
I don't know, because my dad wasn't there initially for like the first part of my internship, so I was just living with his like wife and the kids. So like obviously, if I'm living there, I gotta be like kind of useful, you know, like I'm not cooking or anything, I'm not cleaning or anything. So I just like took that time to like kind of offered my services like as a babysitter.
You want to do your part, yeah,
and then like taught him English and stuff.
That's cool.
Oh, that's quite useful. Yeah, they'd have 3 tutor then.
Yeah, because they take a lot of after school classes. That's the thing about Asia. They like don't stop. They just keep going. Like you come out of class,
I feel intimidated by it. Yeah,
and then you go into like another class. It could be anything. It could be like.
Do you see like higher rates of like burnout though for like kids in like Taiwan and that kind of culture?
No, dude. Honestly, like since they're forced to do it at such a young age,
it's like
they're like
just
they're used to it now. Yeah. Like when they have free time, they're just like, oh, like what's going on?
Yeah, there's no structure. Bro. There's no what do you do? Yeah, but I get that way sometimes
that's my experience. Like in like the capital of Taiwan. So obviously, like the education and everything's gonna be like way higher than like the rest of the city or the rest of the country. Or country.
I mean,
whatever viewpoint you want to do.
This is a very low-rated podcast, so you don't have to worry about calling Taiwan a country on here at least.
Not yet, at least.
Don't invade. I'm just kidding, man. Don't invade. It's a joke.
Yeah, if I get an email from like the Dalai Lama or something, it's like, hey, we're very happy about what you said. I'm like, oh shit.
My bad. I just thought it was the only game. I take it back. It's just a joke.
I was told by many people in my life I should go to Taiwan, that I should like vacation there. Yeah,
it's really nice. People there are super nice. Commuting is really easy too. But yeah, if you do want to go, let me know. I know like a lot of different like spots for you to go to. Just to visit. Right. There's a lot of cities like near the beach. Their whole city is made for tourists.
Well, as okay, I'll put it to you this way: how do they feel about long-haired white guys that are there mainly for babes?
They love it.
They love it.
Right,
dude, they treat tourists like beautifully. It's amazing.
Is that their main industry? Is tourism?
I don't think
where they
so.
make most of their money,
I just think like people are. It's like people are happy to see that other people are interested in their culture.
Yeah. No, I like that, you know, because I feel that way too. I try to be that way when I kind of latch on actually to like people that are immigrants, you know, like they're here for school or whatever. Like, you know, Juliana, who I met, she's back in Columbus. She used to work at the castle, and I just really want them to feel welcome, like to know like there's good people here, there's trustworthy people that they'll help you.
Culture's good.
There is good things here. You know what I mean? Like I want people to
solid.
like, we should all be that way, man.
Exactly.
You know, I like sharing our culture and shit. That's why I find it weird when people like try to defend their culture, like not share, like in certain. That's bizarre to me.
Their own culture,
you know,
bro. Your culture's gonna die if you keep it that way,
right?
Bro.
Yeah, like you can't wear that. That's part of my culture. So I'm just like, why not, man? It looks good on me.
Yeah, bro.
And if anything, you're embracing the culture. Right?
Yeah, I'm doing. It's a compliment.
Yeah, bro. If I walked in, you guys were wearing rice like farmer hats. I'd be like, yo, where's mine at, bro? Like, you didn't get a third one for me, bro? That's messed up.
That's when it's insulting. Like you can't.
No, I actually did that. I did that for one of my high school projects. We did like a boat race. I went to Chinatown. I bought a rice hat, and then for the competition, I like. When we were boating in our swimming pool, I got my rice hat on. It was my teammate's turn. I was like, "Yo, take the hat."
You think people are like when they saw you, like, "Oh shit, he's probably gonna win"?
Nah, dude, they were just taking pictures of us. It was a good time.
That's so funny.
It was a good time.
How old were you when you were doing your internship?
So that was that was after my freshman year of college. So it was probably like, I probably just turned 20.
Okay.
Probably just turned 20, maybe 19. I don't really know how age works nowadays.
How old are you now?
It's all a blur. 23.
23. Okay, so it's been a bit of time.
I think it's been I think I went when I was 19.
Okay.
I think I went when I was 19 because I remember I could drink in Taiwan, but like it didn't feel right.
What's the drinking age in Taiwan?
I believe it's 18, but most people don't really care about the drinking law.
I mean, when I grew up, that's how like I remember when I was little, I remember them changing the drinking age in Wisconsin. Because it used to be below 21. I think it was like 18 or something. Yeah, well, see, back in the day, the states were way more different. I mean, there's still a lot of differences between the states, but you know, you go back like 30 years ago when I was a kid.
It wasn't like federal law, it was state law.
It was state law. I mean, like you could, you know, the whole idea like smoking, you could like certain states like Indiana and Wisconsin, even much of Illinois, you could just smoke anywhere you wanted. Like in the 80s, you could smoke anywhere you wanted on an airplane. You could, you know, they were starting to change that, but you could smoke a cigar. You know, my dad would go in with a pipe or a cigarette or cigar just anywhere.
I remember when I was a kid, smoking and nonstop.
Dude, it was awesome. I missed that. I
pulling up with the pipe.
Dude, you'd be in a McDonald's. I wish we kept them. There used to be McDonald's ashtrays.
That's pretty cool. I would actually like a McDonald's
There'd be
ashtray.
people. I remember people waiting in line like smoking a cigarette. And I remember one big burly like trucker looking guy. I'll never forget that. As a little kid, he's like, man, if I finish this fucking cigarette before they get to me, I'm out of here. Like if anybody gave a shit, you know. But yeah, I remember. It's one of those random memories.
Just a dude living in his own world.
Just like who cares, dude? I remember as even a kid, like, dude, nobody cares about you. You know.
But you were giving him the side eye, just like, did you finish it yet?
Well, no, I was a kid, so I could just dead stare.
Dude, I
miss being able to do that because the only kids get away with that shit, right? Because it's just a kid. What's he gonna do? Now if I do it, I'm starting something. You know,
for real. Can't be doing that.
I would get really like cross if someone started staring me down like that. I'd be like, "What the fuck are you looking at? Like, are you trying to start something with me?"
Maybe you're just like maybe it's a weird version of the blind ice cream guy. You know, you're just staring down, eating your ice cream.
I do know about that. People go up to him and they're like, bro, like, what's your problem? And he pulls out his like walking stick and they're like, yo. And then only the camera picks it up too, so he thinks he's like he's just he's just alone looking
so
through
funny.
it, bro. Oh,
imagine getting paid to just do that shit. Like you make money.
To get paid to do that.
Oh well, yeah.
I
gotta
don't
go first.
I don't know how you would maintain your composure though.
Yeah, because I don't think that guy's blind. I know we're going. This is like off track. But,
the one that I think you're talking about with the girl that's like, stop staring at me.
There's a bunch. There's a bunch.
And then she like slaps her or something, and then he like puts his glasses on and walks away.
Oh, that one's bad.
Because that one I think he's actually blind.
That's what I want. That's, you know what, we've gotten to a point, I feel like, in our media where like everything just feels fake and staged. Because I mean, how many times like I watch, I'm like, oh, I can't believe that happened. Then my brain's like, yeah, but dude, look at the framing. I'm like, oh yeah, it's perfectly framed shot. It's like, you know, it's like obviously planned.
Like, did it really?
But that's what I'm looking for now is like the actual real concept, because when the internet was young, man, that was the best.
Yeah, it was like Vine, bro.
No, way before that. I'm talking like 90s, dude, like 1995, hooking up to AOL. You could search fucking anything, dude. There used to be a website called justmeet.com. I don't know if it still exists or not. It's not porn. It was gore.
That's just me.
Yeah.
I was like,
gore.
It was pure
mean?
gore. It was like there were wackos. You could watch a psychopath cut off his thumb and shit. I mean, I'm not saying that was like high entertainment.
Yeah, but you could if you wanted
the fact that I had the ability, the freedom to just look at whatever I wanted,
even in the, what was it? It was like 2012-ish area. You could still like find videos like that, like easily too, like on a website.
Yeah.
And it was like there was like snuff films and like people like jumping off bridges. I was like, oh my gosh! Like a friend showed me in college once. I'm like, I don't want to watch these. I was like,
I don't know.
Like, never looked at that stuff again. I was like, I don't need to see someone actually dying. Like I love violence and I love like, you know.
It's just, I know I'm sorry I brought up, I'm always going off track with weird shit, but one thing the way I look at it is more like a studious. I have more of a studious look on it. Like I just want to learn.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's not. I don't have some weird
You're
fetish. I'm not jerking off the guys chopping off thumbs. You know what I mean? Like it's it didn't work for me. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like I'm a student. I'm a student. I'm a scientist. I'm just trying to learn.
Oh my God.
That's the main goal.
That was too slick. I was not expecting that. No, but like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think the first thing I was exposed to that really stuck to my mind. I don't know if you guys watch NCAA basketball, but there's this
back
guy
in the day.
There's this guy named Kevin Ware. I don't know if you heard about him, but he landed weird in one of his possessions and one of his like, I don't know if it was like March Madness or something, but he like landed weird in his leg. His like femur like came out of his skin, bro. Ever since then,
that sucks.
Yeah, that does suck, dude. His teammates on the bench were like throwing up.
Yeah, I bet.
You know what? Isn't it? I don't know if it's is it Taiwanese kickboxing, or maybe it's not. I forget what style of martial arts focuses a lot on like that really deadly kick. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Muay Thai?
It might be because I know Joe Rogan. It's part of
Joe. Yeah.
So he's really good. He's actually one of the top like kickers in the world.
Yeah,
Even
I've seen his kicks,
and like
bro.
this shit, I'm addicted to like like UFC and MMA fighting where they do
same.
that. But I like the stuff that's in Asia, like in Japan or like in Taiwan.
hard.
Well, because it's like gladiatorial. There's no fucking rules over there. There's no
They just
safety.
put like ropes on their like.
Dude, they
legs
go and they
and then just go
basically kill the other
sick 'em up.
motherfucker or
Yeah.
cripple him for life. And I'm sorry, but I like to watch violence.
Yeah.
So
that's like real.
And well,
That's
it's also
real.
like mutual combat.
Yeah,
too.
it's real.
Yeah, that's
Don't
like-
get more real than that.
Yeah, that's like there's no like basically no rep. Like just go for it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. Oh, that was
That's just
laughing
as
one
much
time.
damage as you can do.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And like when they go in, like the only like I remember one time I was laughing because the ref was like just kind of chilling back. I'm like, this ref sucks. Like I can already tell, like this guy needs to pay. He needs to really get in there, man, because there's some shit going down.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of sitting back, like fuck it. Maybe it was a 9-to-5 job for him or
I'm
something.
not getting in
But
the middle of that.
no, like yeah.
The UFC that would never happen.
No, man, the UFC usually the refs are
The
bigger
refs
than the
get fired.
fighters.
Yeah, the
I mean
refs
they
get fired for sure.
oh yeah. But no, I like watching that stuff. That's why I like bump fights or like backyard shit. Just because I mean, you know who does it really good
Who?
is the Russians. Because the Russians don't give a fuck
they don't
at
give a
all,
shit,
dude.
bro.
They don't give two shits, and they.
Ice fishing videos, bro.
I don't know what it's called, but they have like a medieval style fighting where it's like in a ring, like a boxing ring,
Okay.
but they're in full armor and weapons.
Yeah.
And they just don't sharpen it. They just take off the points. Otherwise, it's
so you
full
get
contact.
bruised?
Oh yeah, they just break ribs and legs all day and
Or they're
shit.
also using like maces and axes and shit. Like they're using heavy weaponry too. It's not always just swords. Like they're like, and then you got the other ones where there's like team combats too. Like where they have like a
Oh
giant.
god,
like,
a Royal
Dude,
Rumble
team
medieval.
combat
I haven't
would
seen
be
that one.
So
Yeah.
bad. You get like hit in the back of the head by.
Well, it's
accident,
usually
bro.
like a force like against another force like
just straight
parallel
up?
lines. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, you know what, too? Like, one thing I learned about myself when it comes to team combat from, like, online video games is I'm a really dirty fighter. I throw out all my honor when it's a team fight. You're my meat shield, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it
Evading
happens
you,
naturally.
evading you?
Yeah, I just do it naturally. Like, I'll be in a group if I'm an archer. Like, I'm just, like, naturally positioning behind my other teammates for them to take the hit so I can get the shot off.
Yeah,
Because in my mind, it's like, look, I'm carrying you fuckers. Like, we're going to win
do you
because
hit
of me.
those,
Just
though?
take the shot.
You
You know?
those shots, though?
I do, you know.
Okay. If you hit
like,
the shots, I'll pay for you.
I'm not running away. Like I'm providing, but
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
taking the hits.
Okay,
And
fair
I know, like in a team fight like that, I'd be the asshole that comes in on the flank with that kick just to hit that hip. Just to hit that hip. It's like, see, now
Curb
I
stomp.
disabled them, and then they get all the credit for killing them, but that was me. I had to
Yeah.
use you to do that.
All me, brother.
Yeah.
Run the clip back. You'll see it's all me.
That's what I do. And I just, I'm so good.
Yo, did you guys see what I did over there? It's like the classic.
Well, all right. So I'm actually first generation born myself. Except my family is from the other side. They're from Bulgaria. They're from Middle Europe, like Bulgaria, Serbia, Germany, and stuff like that. Do you, in your family, it's big, like tradition and culture, it's kind of fallen apart. Like it's been a big negative, I would say, because my family struggled heavily. Like people died just trying to get here, just to get to the States, because it's post World War II when they came over. So their traditions mean a lot to them because it's what they have left from when they left their homeland, right? Yeah. Which I can't imagine what that's like. Do you get that at all in your family? Like, do you get a lot? Is there traditions? Are your parents like homesick, or your grandparents very like strict with certain things? Like growing up, did you have to go through any of that?
I see what you're saying. No, my parents definitely went through more hardships than I did, I would say, just because they're the immigrants. But for the most part, I think because they did the research, they settled in places that already had the culture. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, they found like a village or whatever, this like neighborhood
in cities.
Sure.
But they found Pasadena and like Alhambra in LA, so they were able to like find a church because most people in Taiwan, I want to say, are like Buddhists. But my family, like my grandma's mother, she switched to Christianity throughout like closer to like her middle age, and that changed like the dynamic for like our whole family, because after that everyone after her were just Christians. And then we even had like a shrine for like Buddhism in like one of their houses, because it's a really old house. But they blocked it off. They don't even use it anymore. It's just like an empty piece now.
Really?
That's what I was going to ask about.
I was going to ask if they've merged the two, because I know a lot of cultures will they'll merge the two cultures for like religion. Like Shintoism and Buddhism, they kind of merge the two. And I mean, it also happens with Christianity. That's why there's Christmas happens when it does, is because it was to take place of a different holiday.
But no, I would say like, if anything, they're like more strict on it, because they know like everyone around them and all their neighbors, they all have like the same shrines and stuff. Because they do live in like kind of like I want to say like a wealthier area, but it's like more in the country. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's like living in the suburbs, but it's like a bigger house.
Right.
Yeah. But like most of my family is just like against Buddhism. Like if they see anything like that, they're like, "Yo, don't approach that. We don't associate with that." Because like I think.
So like they don't even learn like the philosophy side of it either.
They're just really strict with it. Yeah. I don't know, but
because I couldn't see like a meditation and Christianity like clashing negatively, because like Christianity is very against like false idols and things like that, and like using magic, if you will. And,
so they're really big on false idols.
But like with Buddhism, at least what I've seen is a lot of it's just mostly philosophy and how to center yourself. There's a lot of
false idols too.
Is there?
Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean, it depends on which variant, if you will, of Buddhism you're going into. Yeah,
that's true. I don't really know many of them, but the one that surrounds us is like, there's a lot of shrines. There's a lot of like, do you know, it's called Bai Bai. So what you do is you take like an incense stick and you like do this. It's like, that action's called Bai.
I've seen that.
So when you do it like multiple times, it's Bai Bai, which means like I don't know if it's like a respecting or if you're worshiping, but it's like your previous ancestors. So the reason why people in like Taiwan like Buddhism so much is like, because after they die, they want people to remember them and they want to be remembered. So Buddhism offers them like a way for their ancestors to still be a part of them.
Sort of live on in the family.
Yeah. So it's kind of like,
cool though.
Yeah, it's like the male surname. You want it to just keep going as long as you can. Yeah, I think that's kind of what it's like.
Mexico does a similar thing with like their Day of the Dead. Like they always have like a
there's always a way to remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, my family's Eastern Orthodox, and what's big with them is kind of like the Catholics. It's like saints and saints' days, and if you're born on a saint's day, like my brother was born on a saint's day, his name was going to be Vasile, because in our family tradition is because I was first born, I take my grandfather's name. So that's just always like the firstborn always takes the father's name, right? And then the second is named by the godfather. So my godfather was Vasile. My brother and I's godfather was Vasile. So my brother's name was going to be that, but he was born on St. Peter's Day. So his name That's it.
Yeah, it's just
that's your name. That. Oh yeah, because that's like a holy. That's like that's a great honor.
Whoa,
Yeah,
what are the
you're like
odds?
blessed. Yeah. And then that also means because when they celebrate a Saints Day, they call it a Slava, and it's just another reason to party. But it's like a big party. It's almost imagine like another. It's not like imagine like another. Like a company party. That's kind of what it feels like a really good company party, right?
Yeah, too bad I skipped those. No, keep going.
Yeah, no. And then I was just going to say, so like if you're born on that day and that's your birthday, like, oh man, my brother, man, did he make out good. I mean, the gifts and the money, it was insane growing up. So I think that's kind of cool. For me, at least, I don't have a family. So I think that's a big part of like carrying on traditions is that you got to have a family. Mm-hmm. I mean, why else would you do it, right? Just for yourself. That'd be kind of weird, I guess. But, I don't know, that's a part that kind of makes me sad that like a lot of traditions just don't get carried on.
Yeah.
Because I think they're kind of cool, you know. I appreciate them.
I agree. I think it's really cool, but I think it has to do with the isolation of our society as well. Like we do seem to be like
we're in our own world.
Yeah, like each person is in their own
That's
world.
so true, especially with all the weird technology we have now and shit, you know.
Nowadays, like, people don't want you to explore their world. You know what I'm saying? They just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
We're also, I feel like we've been scared, right? Like when I was little, like Bill Burr made the joke. Yeah, and I'm not like that. Like I'm very, like Zach knows, like I'll spearhead my way into your life and you'll just be like, okay, this guy, like if I'm too much, I know I'll back off. I'm not one of those douchebags. Yeah.
And then I'll be like, all right, full send.
Yeah.
That's how Zach met me. He's just like, who's this Asian kid, bro? It's so loud.
I think I probably did the same thing to you, Zach, or something similar. Because the first time I saw Zach was in the hallway at the castle, and he was dating this little lady at the time, this little girl. And I thought, my God, he met that poor thing. But I remember just watching them, like they looked very much in love, and I thought, oh, they're in their little world. Like, and for some reason, I just had this weird thought, like that's the kind of person I'd probably never get to know. Of course, it didn't happen, right? Yeah. But that's a weird, cool thing about life, you know. That's why I like to sort of just like approach, you know, be sociable, approach strangers, and just figure out what kind of person you are, you know, where you've been. That's like sometimes you meet the most interesting people just sitting at a bar.
That's facts.
Yeah.
I can't get into conversations at bars just because it's so loud, and I'm not gonna start yelling into your ear. Like I don't want to be that close to you.
Actually, if I have a couple drinks in me, I'll start talking to anyone, literally anybody. So yeah,
you got to go to.
Bar's a pretty good situation for me.
Oh, I mean that's like what's like the main way we socialize when you think about it, which I also think is a little weird.
It's funny because it used to be coffee. Before, like it was alcohol was like our main drink, right? And that was like it's a depressant, right? So that's when they say like that's when society starts to kind of go down. And then coffee got introduced by like Turkey and other countries like southern like
productivity, baby.
And then like that started a stimulus society where everyone was drinking coffee and conversations were happening at coffee houses, and that's when you get the French Revolution and you get all these other like major events happening because like not because of coffee, but because people were talking, and it was also a stimulant. So it's like this like perfect storm of because it's also caffeine's a nootropic, so it also like stimulates your mind too. Yeah.
It probably wouldn't be good, but deep down I have this. It's not even deep down. It's pretty much a floating thought, but like. I want everything to just be legal, and I mean everything, because I just want if the world was just the streets of Portland for like a year, just so we could like figure shit out, like what is good and what isn't.
What works,
Let's really what works and what doesn't.
Okay.
I mean, especially
if we're gonna have a giant experiment.
I didn't know where you were going with that first. But
no, I'm not trying to the end of the world. Yeah, like I want
to. Let's go.
Especially though when it comes to drugs, I think that as an adult you should be able to like
limit test.
Yeah, well, not just limit test, but like you should be able to make decisions about your own body. You should be able to choose if I want to take a drug, I should be able to take that drug without like legal consequences for just using a substance.
Yeah.
That was one of the coolest books that we talked about was the Drug User's Bible. I don't know if you've ever heard of that book. Yeah.
So this guy tests 150 different drugs over the course of like 10 years, and what he does is he took it like right, like so he would just like write down. And he what he would do is with this book called the Drug User's Bible, he wrote like a list of rules of how to go about safely taking a new substance, like
Oh,
how to
wow.
test.
Oh, it's awesome.
How
Yeah.
to test it, how to make sure you do it safely, where to do it, how to have different things like a wristband with how much you took and what you took always on you when you're high, so that way if you overdosed or something, someone can someone can see, oh, he took this much, this is what he's on, we don't need to fuck around, figure out what's going on with him, we already know. But he also talks about how not to overdose, because like if you only have so much in your possession, you can only do that much, and then when you're high, you're like, well, I could do a little more, let's keep this going. It's like, no, you don't have any more, and you won't overdose because you don't have any more.
So you just buy the amount that you want to do for that sesh.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
That's the same thing. Like when you go to, used to work with a nutritionist. They literally treat food like an addiction. So it's just the same concept. If your cupboard's full of Oreo cookies, then you've always got an endless supply, and then you're always you rebuy them before they run out. You're just always gonna have Oreo cookies with everything you do. It's the same concept. Yeah.
We kind of just have a bad connotation on drugs, don't we?
Well, especially with the 80s and 90s, man, it got like, they went hard. They went scare tactics, right?
Yeah.
Instead of educating the people, because like, think about like most psychedelics, like shrooms, LSD.
Those were used a ton back then.
Well, like in the 60s, they were huge. But the thing is, they're non-addictive, right? Like they can actually help you break addictions. Like shrooms is known to help you get through trauma and things like that, and also breaking other drug addictions. So it's like they're so powerful and useful, but there's no research done on it because they become a scheduled class 1 drug or something like that, where it's like the same level as heroin. It's like, but it's not. It's like it's like shrooms, especially is as gentle on your body system as like marijuana. Like I would rather do shrooms than alcohol, because of like there's no real negative health consequences from shrooms.
I've wanted to try it, but one of my friends that said she had it for like the whole semester, she was just waiting for like a free weekend. Never found a free weekend. Yeah. She had it for like, I think she still has it. I think it's been like 2 years now. She still has it.
They might be duds now.
Yeah, it doesn't go bad.
Yeah, they go bad after a couple years.
They go bad. Yeah, they go bad, and especially because they're highly sensitive to temperature and moisture.
Oh.
Yeah, and especially no, they just die out. Yeah. I mean, their whole life is fragile, which is funny because they're discovered in nature, right? But when, it's like a lot of things. When man tries to just reproduce it, he's just not good at it because he's not nature, you know? But obviously people do grow them and sell them and things like that, and they're completely illegal. I admit I've done them myself, and it's absolutely wonderful. Every time I've done it, I come away with just a new enlightenment. Oh, my life, sometimes my life, the way I look at life is profoundly changed. Yeah, and I'm not someone who does this shit often. I do it once a year. Yeah, no, it's like a little vacation kind of thing.
Understandable.
And it's called a trip, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it totally is.
But the only experience I've had with like any drug over marijuana was at raves. So like we'll go to like a electric dance music rave and just be on like ecstasy or Molly, and that's usually what does it. But honestly, there's so much going on that I don't really know what's like happening.
It sounds like to do like MDMA or like something like that at a rave would just be too overstimulating.
I don't know what's I don't know if it's hitting me or if I'm just like at a rave or if like
I've noticed that the more drugs I've taken at like a concert or a rave, the further the music gets from like what I'm doing. Does that make sense? Like it's almost like there's an invisible it just gets further and further away from what's going on. Yeah, it's like I don't even remember like who played last. I don't know what. You know what I mean? It's like what are you talking about?
What is it?
I thought there was a boombox, man. Yeah. It's like there's live music here, you know.
Someone's playing music at
no,
a
like
dance festival?
Yeah, like your proximity like shortens a lot.
I feel you.
Like your awareness
back away
bubble
from everything a little bit.
I totally get that. Like it's weird. I can socialize when I'm doing that shit, but music has to be so delicate.
Really?
I don't know why.
Well, I think music just hits your.
It's overwhelming,
body,
dude. It's overwhelming.
Your mind, the way you interpret music is, very. It's very in tuned. So if a song sounds sad, you're gonna get sad.
Yeah.
If it sounds like scary, you're gonna feel that. anxiety.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. And it's amplified.
I was gonna say if you're under a substance, it's gonna be even bigger. You
Oh,
know?
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should chill.
No, it's still worth doing. Like,
Yeah.
what did I say? Usually my advice is, even when I've had a bad trip, and it's never been on shrooms, it's been on other things. But what I always tell myself, and that's why I say it to others, is like, you gotta just ride things out. You cannot be. Don't fight.
Oh, yeah,
because
no,
you're gonna
I got
lose.
you. I
Don't
got you.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's, like, if you try to fight your emotions with your ego's always gonna
I tried
lose.
that with edibles. Don't worry. I
Yeah.
learned that real quick. Because
Yeah.
like a lot of my friends, like I think edibles for the first time for like beginners, it's terrible, bro. Like you have no experience like with the high, and then if you get too much, then you're obviously gonna overthink it and try to fight it. You know what I mean?
I think, yeah, I think that Alan Watts is right about it when he says that the people that it's most useful to are those that are introspective and meditative, people who can really sort of listen well, witness well what goes on in their body and their mind, and just let it happen. You know, it's almost like letting death happen. That's the best way I can explain it, without having died before. You know what I mean?
It literally feels like something's wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you just ride it out, you just like. You're like, oh, this is a nice wrong. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Oh yeah. It is totally. Yeah.
Yeah, like when I first started smoking marijuana, like it would like I would get like heart racing, like
Oh, yeah,
just,
for
like,
sure.
fucking,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
go. And then now, if like whenever I do it,
Yeah,
it's
but
like nothing.
what went through your mind when you went through that for the first time?
I was like, I'm trying not to hate this.
Ah.
That was me. I was like, I'm just trying not to hate this right now. Right now, I'm just trying to like, okay, this is what's happening. We'll be cool. And then, but then I just got real mad. I'm like this.
I've never seen that before.
I was getting really mad, and then I'm just like, and I had so much energy. I'm just like, fuck. And I started doing push-ups.
Oh,
I was
I do
like-
that sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. I don't get mad. I'm just like, oh, I'm lazy sack of shit. I just start doing push-ups.
That's hilarious. Take this world, I'll push you. No, yeah, I think that anger. That's another good thing about even just meditation is that it'll weirdly, for me, especially when the first few times I started meditating, it really started bringing my anger out, and I noticed that like any little interruption of my meditation, even like a buzzing of a fly, pissed me off. But what was interesting and important to me, what I learned from that was that my anger was right there. It was skin level.
Yeah.
It was skin deep,
was
and that
deep, yeah.
it was right there. I was waiting to just make me do something stupid. And I was like, okay, well, that's something I need to address. Like, how do I not be angry all the time?
Yeah.
You know, and that takes work. It's just, you got to listen. It sounds cliche, but it really does make a difference. You got to set aside time every day where it's just you're alone and your thoughts, and you get a chance to just catch up with whatever's rolling through your head. And that will help you like calm you down.
Yeah.
And I can take little offenses from people, you know what I mean? Cause like,
Yeah, nothing's building.
yeah, because I was at the point where like, even the other, like this happened last week, but it taught me that like how far down my levels of anger have come, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But like, you know, there was a point where you couldn't even just touch me. You know what I mean? And I know Zach can relate to this quite a bit, but that's why I know what's going on in your head when you're like that, because, you know, if someone like gave me a tap on the shoulder or, you know, nudge me or something like that, I like my love for them, even if I like them, would just disappear instantly. It's like, why'd you touch me? I didn't say you could touch me. You know what I'm saying? It's like a serious kind of like fragile anger. Yeah. No, and that is not good. I mean, maybe if we lived, you know, naked in the forest or something, that would be really
Naked and
important.
Afraid?
Yeah.
Love that show. No, yeah, keep going, my man.
No, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just taking over. But I mean, shit, I forgot what I was going to ask him next.
No, you're good.
We always go off on tangents.
I like tangents.
Did you do
Yeah.
a lot of sports when you were younger?
Oh, so yeah, I was a field fairy, soccer player.
A field fairy.
I don't know if field fairy is field fairy baseball or is it soccer?
I've never fucking heard that.
Nah, dude, I used to get insulted on. They're like, bro, you play soccer, you're a field fairy, and I was like,
Opposed to
Wow.
what, like football?
or something.
American
I don't know,
football.
like basketball.
It's like the opposite
cool.
when I was in school.
Basketball,
I don't know,
football,
man.
Those are cool sports. When I was growing up.
Soccer's way harder than basketball, though.
It is harder. It also helped me with like footwork and speed and stamina. So I'm not mad about it. I'm
Yeah.
not mad about it.
No,
at
the
all.
soccer's awesome. That's
Yeah.
weird. When I was in school, like when I was in high school, which is a long time ago now, that was like soccer was big, man.
Yeah, so like I think every parent starts your kid off with soccer, right? like when you're young.
Yeah,
Or, like,
soccer was my first sport.
Yeah,
Mine was baseball.
Or I think it's one or the other.
Yeah.
Like, but for most people, I think it's actually soccer.
Yeah, it could be. I come from a small town. We don't count.
So then when people like grow like older, they start realizing what they want to do. So like they transition from soccer to other sports. But meanwhile, for me, I just stayed in soccer. So then like when all my other friends like moved to like football, basketball, like baseball or something, and I was still there, they were like, "Oh, you're still a field fairy, bro?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah!"
I feel very offended by that term.
Field fairy, yeah, I didn't like it, but I heard it
I've
so
never
many
heard
times in
that
high
shit.
school.
I know, right? It's like one of those things. If you have an insecurity about it, you make the joke first before someone else can. That way they don't make it.
Nah, but I kind of quit soccer, and then I did track. Track was my big thing.
And what'd you do in track?
I was just chasing medals, man. I was like,
so you did everything?
I was just trying to find something I was good at and just get as many medals as I can. Cause like for me, cause I joined senior year of high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So all my teammates that were in varsity, they all had like lockers full of medals, and they'd all be like, "Yo, bro, why is your locker so empty?" And I like obviously it's like a taunt, but it like improves me. So I'm like, okay, I'm a grind.
Well, that's that locker room mentality.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that's really more like that's actually kind of like a nudge. Like, hey, we want you to catch up. Yeah.
But like, I got bumped down a couple times. So I was doing long jump first, but we had some really good long jumpers. So I had to like keep trying to improve like on my own time. Like after practice, like I was doing like squats, isometric, polymetric. I forgot plyometrics. Is that what it is?
That's a word, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it
Sounds
is.
like a word.
I know it's an exercise word,
Yeah, it helps
plyometric.
you with like your fast twitch muscles and like
Okay.
building them, strengthening them. But like, bro, he still beat me, and then I got kicked off long jump. So then I had to learn high jump in like a month. But that was probably like one of the most interesting experience, like fast learning. You just gotta like go with it, trust your coach. Because I honestly didn't know what was happening in the air because I've never watched myself high jump because I was only doing it for a month.
Yeah.
But he was just like, just do this, think this, and I just did it, and it went well.
There you go.
Sounds like
That's a
horse
good
riding.
coach.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
it was really weird though. I don't recommend high jump. That it's so scary.
Oh, I'm Bulgarian. I'll never be a high jumper. We're born with
Too
heavy
dense.
ass bones. So yeah, we're way dense, dude. We're like a loaf of bread. There's no
What
jumping.
was scary about the high jump? Just being
Dude, it's like you're
horizontal.
suspended in the air and like you only look up. So when you're jumping, you go like that.
Yeah.
So the bar is like below me, so I never see where I'm gonna land. So like I could hit like the two posts. I've seen people hit the post before.
Oh, really?
I've also seen people like land on the bar where the bar is like in between their legs and they just fall into it, and then it like because it's
Yeah.
like a bendy bar, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it comes back up and slaps him in the balls, dude. That's probably the scariest thing I've ever seen.
TikTok seems to think I like those videos, and I've never hearted a single one, and they keep sending me
but
that
you
shit.
just you're like,
I like the ones. I like the ones where they do the pole vault and the pole vault snaps and it just
That one's scary.
fiberglass
That's
everywhere.
scary.
I'm like, wow.
my coach said he saw a student get fiberglass stuck in his leg like an EpiPen.
Yeah.
Damn.
Still, that must have been so exhilarating to do a high jump. That's got to be
Yeah,
cool.
it is cool. It is cool, but don't recommend.
Like I would want to do it to know the feeling because I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's no way I could do it. I know
I
I'd fail.
tried it because I did track my sophomore and senior year.
Yeah.
And I tried high jump. I just couldn't get to it.
It's
I-
Dude,
most
that, I
useless-
can't even imagine
It's the
you
most
doing that.
useless event in track. Because think about it,
Why
like,
is it- what do you mean useless?
like you'll never jump over
applying-
something like that.
Yeah, right.
And land, on your back.
Yeah.
You're just paralyzed. Like you can jump over something. You can run fast. You can
Yeah.
throw stuff. Like,
Well, maybe
all
it's to get
applicable.
like up on a short cliff or something, and
Yeah,
not,
right.
Okay, then you'll just get the wind knocked out of you. Temporarily paralysis. Like
and then the cougars on the cliff eat
Yeah,
you, so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
pointless anyway. Yeah, well, it's funny because teachers say that a lot when you're young, right? Like, oh, trust me, one day you're gonna be
Yeah, you're
glad,
gonna eat this.
which is true. I have found in my life. I mean,
It is true.
It's
As much as I
ridiculous.
hate to admit it,
No,
it
it's
is
true. Everything. Look, the way I look at life now is kind of like Robin Williams said about comedy. He says it's the only job where you can use everything you know. I feel like actually that's really any job or anything you do if you just apply that mentality to it. Because it's weird. I've done like lots of weird stuff in my life, and I never know when something I learned is gonna come up somewhere else
Yeah.
and assist it there. You know what I mean?
Well, for me, like learning, doing fasting taught me how to sit with different feelings of like not just discomfort of like a physical thing, but like emotional things as well.
Oh, yeah.
And like mental, like anguish and anything like that. It just taught me how to sit with a feeling and just wait for it to pass, because eventually this will go away.
Yeah.
And it's like doing fasting taught me, okay, like this is how you just sit with a feeling. This is how you just let it happen and then move on.
Yeah,
once
time
it's
heals,
done.
bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do that sometimes, but I'm not trying to fast. I just like get lazy. I'm like gaming, and then like I get hungry. I'm like, yeah, nah. If I like game for like 3 more hours, I'm not gonna be hungry anymore. Let's keep going, guys.
Yeah, right.
So it's like cigarettes instead of smoking to avoid eating. You're just gaming.
Just game, bro. Just too lazy to start cooking something. So just keep.
I think the only time in my life, well, I think I was about your age actually when I had my first apartment. That's what I would do, because I hadn't yet developed really any kind of like. This is just me. I'm not projecting.
Yeah, no, you're good.
That I didn't have. I didn't. Really, I was first time on my own. Well, on my own in a place that I owned, right?
Yeah.
So all I had was this like shitty computer and a futon.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell you, it was game. Like there would be weekends where I would just literally game all day, like all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Yeah. So I totally and I did not eat. Yeah.
No, we'd have. I remember
The
our whole
gamer
apartment.
diet.
Yeah.
Our whole apartment, we would do all the same thing during college. We would all like it was 4 of us, but one of us wasn't as talkative as the rest. So like us 3 would hang out a lot. We would all just game whole day. Wouldn't eat anything. When like 10 or 11 p.m. hits, we're like, "Yo, are you guys hungry?" And then we'd like sit there for like a couple seconds. We're like, "Yo, actually, like I'm kind of starving, bro."
I didn't realize, but yeah.
I'm actually like so hungry. So then one of us cooks, one of us cleans, one of us does prep work.
Okay.
And then we just eat one meal for the day, just knock out next day.
That's some good
Nice.
roommating.
Yeah.
That's some good roommating
No,
right there.
our eating schedule is horrible.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with OMAD, like 1 meal a day style.
That's what I try to do right now. Yeah, that's like my day.
It's like almost like intermittent fasting. It's the same thing, and it's actually really good for you.
No, but we
You
were
know,
lifting. We were trying to bulk.
Oh, you don't. You
We
won't.
were trying to bulk.
You ain't gonna bulk like that.
Yeah, 1 meal a day, we're not
if you're
bulking,
getting
bro.
enough protein, you'll be fine.
You'd be like
That's
near
all it takes.
vomiting levels. To force in 4,000 plus calories in one meal.
Dude, you could eat 4,000 calories in 1 meal, just like 2 ribeyes. That's all it takes.
Nah, bro, you have to
All that
train
fat.
yourself for that.
It's so easy for you to say that, Zach. You know, you're
I
giant.
cannot.
You're gigantic.
I can't eat,
Yeah.
I
I'll
can
eat
eat
like
a quarter of a ribeye.
Sam is like almost.
I'm trying to
No,
like
bro, like there's no way.
3 pounds of ribeye, 3 to 4 pounds of ribeye. I can
What does
do
that
in a
look
sitting.
like? What does a pound of ribeye look
Well, a
like?
pound would be like a half an inch, or about an inch to half.
But what
an
about the
inch.
girth of it?
And like that's how thick it would be,
Okay.
right? And it would be about like that.
That's some good girth.
Yeah.
the most I ever ate, like the biggest steak I ever had, was what do they call that? Tomahawk,
Oh yeah.
which was amazing. Oh, I was in Texas.
Anything with bone.
Oh,
in.
anything
in
Texas,
Amarillo, dude, and it was this gigantic steakhouse, right? I think it was like the great, like they call it like the Great Texas Steakhouse or something like that, and it looked real
Oh,
touristy.
Texas Roadhouse?
No, none of that shit. No, this was like the legit, dude. We went in
Yeah, no, I
there,
got
and it was
you.
very cowboy. It was awesome. I remember we sat down, and even the waiter took one look at us, and you know, he's got a cowboy hat and everything on. He's like, "So where are you fellas from?" And we're like, "We're from Chicago." And he just like went back like that, and his eyes went like half, and he's just like, "So what's it like to get out of prison?" We started laughing. We're like, "Dude, it feels great."
Dude, that's a W serve right there.
Dude, yeah, that
I
was-
would never get away with that.
No, he was awesome, man. And he recommended the tomahawk. It was a 53 ounce. That was a big,
Dang.
yeah, it was the biggest steak. Everything was huge. It was like half the size of this table. And I not only did I devour that because it was so delicious, but I ate all the sides too. I had fries and like corn and like I think coleslaw or
that
something.
good?
Oh, dude, I felt like I could have
I'm
ate
getting
another
hungry
one.
now, and I just ate before the podcast.
It was the best steak I ever had in my life. It was amazing. I remember how
Medium
it
rare?
tasted. Huh?
Medium rare?
Yeah, it was more like like medium rare. Yeah, it was about medium rare. Yeah.
Yeah, Marco does it wrong. He likes his meat cooked all the way through.
Sometimes, usually, I like well done, but it depends. If I get a steak, I usually closer to medium rare.
Yeah,
Yeah, if it's a nice steak.
If I
expect you to
trust
get-
them, yeah. If I feel like I can trust them
No,
to cook it,
that's
yeah.
understandable. Because like some
Otherwise, I
quality,
want-
you don't want to get like.
No, I don't know. Yeah, if we're going to fucking Ponderosa, it's like
I've
Getting some
always
Wagyu, I'm
I've-
doing
Yeah,
medium rare.
yeah, right.
Give
I've
me that
always-
shit rare too. I'll eat it.
I've always had rare for any kind of meat like that can be cooked rare. You know,
rare. I can't do. I mean, I can do it, but I feel like
I've never gotten
I
sick.
feel like I'm playing Fallout 4 or something. I'm like, why am I like pushing the, you know?
You're not pushing
My
nothing.
poison levels are high. I'm getting dehydrated.
Yeah, that's what why am I doing? Why am
like
I?
Rust,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah, it's yeah, why am I playing Rust right now? Like,
Tastes better
I
that
should
way.
be enjoying this shit.
It is. I think rare is way more enjoyable. I've eaten
Do you
raw.
eat
I've
it?
eaten raw steak.
No,
Like,
but when you eat it rare, do you like Do you eat it with your hands?
Yeah, of course.
I don't
Unless
like
I'm
that
at a
shit.
restaurant. If I'm at a restaurant and I'm with people,
So
I'll be polite and I'll use silverware. But when I'm at home, I'm just gonna fucking
So is this more of like an ego thing, like a game? Like it's fun to do that, or is it just really the flavor that
I think it's
overpowers it?
delicious.
But in the
Like,
beginning, was it the ego thing? And then
no,
it
at the
became
beginning it was just
flavor?
because that's when my mom and dad ate it.
Really?
And then so I'm like,
So you're all around the table at Thanksgiving, just like
not with the hands.
They gave me a
Well,
really
you said
good
that's how you
vision.
were raised.
I
Like,
like
No. I thought you meant I thought you meant the ego thing about that was rare.
No, I got that part. I don't know where you at, bro.
Okay.
Okay, he's talking about
I
eating with your
misunderstood.
hands.
Yeah.
I was talking
That was
about
a funny
eating
vision,
rare.
though. That was
but-
a really funny vision. I'm imagining like a small Zach. This takes like half the size of him at that point.
Just a little 7-year-old Zach. It's like a giant piece of rubber. He's just pulling away.
Yeah, I mean, it's not entirely wrong.
What does it look like when a steak is rare?
Yeah, it's just like pink on the inside. You know, it's still got a little juice coming out.
Does it have crust on it on the outside?
Yeah,
still?
yeah. I like the crust.
Well, that's
I'll
when
do
they would do. You got to sear it, basically.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
just-
fine.
it's
and I
basically
like
just
that.
a sear,
So
right?
yeah, and you just kind of warm up the inside. It's delicious. It's like
Oh.
eating right off the carcass. It's great. You just
But-
get a little salt and pepper.
But raw is when you just eat it raw. Right?
Raw, yeah, and I've done that like before as well, where I got like a whole side from Costco, right, and I'll cut into the center and just eat the center and have some of that.
You ever eat raw
wanted
ground
to try
like
it.
ground
It's
beef or
delicious.
ground chicken?
No, because that's not safe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've done
good,
that.
good,
Yeah,
good.
I did. I wouldn't say I got sick, but you know what? Ground chicken raw tastes like shit.
You shouldn't eat chicken raw at all.
It's not.
Salmonella is very prevalent.
He's acting like he's trying to convince me to not do it.
Yeah,
I'm like, don't
You
worry,
shouldn't
man.
do it.
I know you're
I'm
Taiwanese.
not gonna do that.
I know you're Taiwanese, but whatever you do, don't eat raw chicken.
Oh my god.
Okay, man, cool.
Okay, sounds good, man.
We do have black chickens in Asia though. They're actually
Yeah, I've seen
they're
them.
really expensive. But they have like I'm pretty sure they got like thick legs,
Yeah.
like really thick legs. But they're
But-
amazing.
Yeah,
bro.
and they're completely black. Like their beak is
They're
black.
amazing.
And yeah, like everything about them.
Tastes like there's more protein to it or something.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I've had people tell me that like our meat here doesn't taste like the meat from their country, and that all our meats taste very similar to them. Like they all taste like chicken, or they all taste like fish. I've had like immigrant people say
Probably because of the feed. We feed all the
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And,
all
like-
we
just
do
grain.
like a cheap method of feed.
Dude, when you look at like the skin of like my relatives, you know, that live in villages still in like Bulgaria and Serbia and
Yeah.
shit. Well, yeah, dude, the skin on the chicken is like an inch thick, man.
Really?
Oh my god, it's not like you're like
Yeah.
this. Yeah, and then they don't, you know, that's just they're chickens. They just, you know, that's for thousands of years have been growing outside, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. We eat garbage, man. Whatever.
It's upsetting. But what are you gonna do?
Good thing we serve baby dragons at the castle.
Yeah,
right?
not chicken. It's
we
baby
don't serve
dragon.
chickens. We serve
Yeah,
baby
where? Yeah,
dragons.
where's the activism for the baby dragons? There's none, dude. It's
Yeah,
bullshit.
I like calling
I
them.
tell people every time not to cancel me when I serve them, man. We have plenty here at the castle, good nobles. Please do not cancel me. I say only to the young people.
I like for the children. I call them giant chicken nuggets, and then the parents laugh. And
Oh, that's a good one, actually.
because some kids like get really upset
Yeah,
when you call
yeah.
it a baby dragon. It's like, I'm like, don't.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's okay. It's
Yeah.
a giant chicken nugget.
Usually,
So-
I do is I
And
go
then
like,
the parents laugh. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
good.
I go
At least
like-
I got the parent.
"Hello, good noble. Now, can I interest you in a baby dragon or just a chicken today?" And whatever they say, I'll go like, "Perfect. I got that perfectly right here prepared for you," and I'll just drop it down.
There you go.
Parents love that one. They love options.
Yeah, scaring kids is more of like an 80s thing. That's kind of how I was raised. Like
Yeah.
everything that they want to give you, there's always a little bit of like shock to it, like a shock value to it, which was kind of cool because everything sort of was that way back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's that sort of that like.
You win or you learn.
Oh, it was-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was a
It was-
crucible of fire, which is
it
how
was
I
an
think, which I
adult-
like. I like that.
It was an adult world.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
and you-
And they were
as
just
a-
kids growing up in it.
Yeah.
Right,
But
yeah.
they grew up fast though.
That's my dad's mentality was that he used to argue with my mother over that. He's like, why are you trying to shield? Why are you trying to shelter him from this shit?
Yeah,
It's like he's not gonna be
Right.
9 forever,
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
life.
Plus-
That's how my parents were. They were very
But do you
like,
think-
you need to learn how to cook
Yeah.
now.
But
Like,
do you think there's an age where you like should shelter your kid?
You know what
I
I think?
think there's certain content, maybe certain
Okay.
things.
I think you should consider how quickly there was a wisdom built in a person, regardless of their age.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I do agree. Like, I often have this feeling for myself, and I've always sort of thought this way: is that it's silly that we a lot of us seem. and I'm talking about myself especially, we abandon our discipline and our self-tutelage once we become adults. It's really bad. We're almost so the way we learn and teach ourselves new things or how to be disciplined.
I've actually had that mentality.
And it's dangerous because in a way we actually become more immature than some children because a lot of children properly raised, in my opinion, live under under good discipline, under good leadership, good tutelage, good teaching, right? Then that, like the way, for example, my dad would let me watch some skin flicks, some like late night Showtime B movie, or like Skinamax they used to call it, right? Like Cinemax was a channel, and there'd be nudity or love scenes or something like that, and my dad, rather than he wouldn't leave me, like if he had left me alone with it, then that would have been unhealthy for me. Yeah. But instead he watched it with me and said, if you got any questions, just ask. And then he'd puff a cigarette. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was very gangster. Yeah.
That happened to me too. So when I was with my uncle, this was like when my uncle just got married. So like they just got married. It was like probably a couple months after the wedding. My dad invited me over to their place and we watched this like football movie. And they were doing like cocaine off like these girls' ass, and it was like not censored at all.
Oh, in the movie.
My bad.
Oh man, I was like, man, my uncle's never invited me.
No.
Like,
I probably should have.
Oh man, the movie was Dumbo.
But we were just going crazy. We were going dummy. No, but like, they like the movie was going crazy. Like I was the only one there with my dad, and then the uncle, and then his wife. But I was probably like 8 years old, and my uncle was probably like 28 by that time. My dad's like however old he was, but instead of like telling me to leave, he would just look at me every now and then just to see if I was looking, and he'd look away, and he'd be like, everything okay? And then I'd just come back, and then that honestly was like fine for me, but I know for a fact my mom would have never let that happen.
Right. Yeah,
I would have been like out of there so fast. But I agree, like if you do have like someone there in like an authority figure like with you watching it, then you're like, okay, it's not like
it's not damaging because like if you have a question or if you're confused or if you are like got anything to say, you can ask right now. The person's right there that can like help guide you through this certain aspect.
I think it's about understanding risk too, because that's the most important thing. That like my dad, he's like, oh, well, I'd be like, why are they doing this? He's like, well, because it's fun. It was like, I'm like, oh, okay. But he's like, but it's bad for you. I'm like, why is it bad? He's like, well, this because if you do it this or you do too much of this, like alcohol, for example, then and he drank and now I drank. But that's always that's still in the back of my head. Anytime I do something, I realize there's a risk involved. So if I take that risk, I'm the one who suffers. I'm the idiot. Or I mean, others may suffer as well, but. That's where my morality has to sit, is whether or not I take the risk. So if you don't teach someone importance of risk, then how can their morality ever kick in? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I really do. I agree with that kind of parenting. I think if you shelter a child, and I could think I have friends, man, that they just overprotected their kids, and their kids are they're just weak little pieces of shit.
Dude,
now.
I have some friends that don't know how to do the simplest shit ever.
Yeah, and that's
they don't know how to use a microwave. They were my roommate.
What do you mean they don't know how to use a microwave? He
opened it up, right? Okay. And he's like, so if the clock's here, how do I put my time in? And I was like, bro, wait, what?
It would have been funnier if he just closed the door and just stood there waiting.
Dude, he's like, can you help me with this? I'm like, bro, you just click the number that you want to do. And he's like, wait, like, can I do like 100? Is that 100 seconds or a minute? I was like, bro, you're special, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I had a friend in high school who didn't know proper hygiene, so he'd go weeks without bathing, and he stank.
That's worse than the microwave.
And he lived in total filth because his dad abandoned him and his brother when they were little, and his mother was never home. She worked 2 jobs, and so they just existed for her. There's no parenting at all. Yeah. This is in high school. I mean, he was 17 years old, right? 18 years old, whatever. And so like at the end of high school, and I used to like give him tips like how to dress, even how to talk to girls, like all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to tell him like I'm still learning too, but obviously you're well behind me, so I'm trying to help him out, right?
Catch up.
Yeah, right. But the funniest thing is one time we're all in like the living room in Chicago, and I was with my dad at the time, and it was like me and my friend who I'm talking about, and I think my brother and my dad, and we're watching a movie. My dad's, of course he's smoking a cigarette. He's always had a cigarette in his mouth. And it's like 20 minutes in the movie, just out of nowhere, and my dad goes, we'll say his name is John. It's like, John, take a fucking shower, man. And just he just gets up right away like a drone and just stands up and goes straight, takes a shower, comes back.
Like at your house?
Yeah, at our house. It was awesome. Like, he just had to be told, you know. There was a lot of things this guy just never learned. He had literally like no parenting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. That's why, like, nowadays, I've realized that you never really know someone's, like, situation, like, how they grew up.
Right.
So now you just kind of gotta just...
See, and I thought it was crazy when someone didn't know how to start a grill or light a fire.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is a basic ass shit.
Like,
there's things even more basic than that people don't know how to do. You know?
Yeah, or first aid even. It's like, how don't you know first aid? It's so simple.
Well, meeting people like that too makes me wonder, like, what don't I know or know well?
Yeah, that's actually,
you know what I mean?
Point.
It's like everyone else knows quantum physics because I don't. What is this?
Yeah, right.
That's really a good point. I didn't even think about that.
No, that's why like a lot of things in my life, I do it still now, but man, when I was in my 20s, I wanted to be like, you know, Johnny Five, the robot. I wanted the most amount of input and data I could get. You know, I know you guys don't know who I'm referencing.
I know Johnny Five Alive.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Simple, Stephanie.
Okay, yeah. So, that's why I studied everything. I mean, literally from like good sex to making donuts. Like anything I thought that I liked or wanted to learn more about, I studied.
I would read that book. Good sex to making donuts.
There you go.
Everything you need to know about life.
By Marco.
I like it.
I buy it.
Yeah, why not?
The deluxe version. The hard copy.
the hard copy.
Just to make sure it survives.
It would make a good like
it's
illustration.
A family
book.
heirloom.
Yeah, the years of experience.
My father gave me this book.
Or maybe that's what the Havamal is, right? Or like any old world wisdom like book, like takes like a fucking I can't think of
The Bible?
No. It's East Asian.
I was just kidding.
Well, that would be weird if you were reading like the Havamal and then
Confucianism. Yeah. It's like or any old world.
The ins and outs.
Yeah.
The ins and outs of anal sex, like that's part of the book.
Oh god.
The ins and outs.
That's like the second page. So
Step
to begin,
one.
you'll need to know this.
First, you must spank the butthole.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that was a solid spank you just did there, bro.
Thank you. I've been practicing.
I'm gonna hear a whimper every now and then from your room. And then a giggle. And then a giggle. What was that?
First there was a whimper. And then a giggle.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap things up, even though we usually don't want to. I always want these conversations to go longer, but we'll just have to bring you back, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
I always like to ask, if tomorrow morning, let's say tomorrow you wake up and you have to step out onto your balcony, let's say you have a balcony, and the world is outside waiting for you to say something to them. They're waiting for your wisdom, your words of wisdom. What would you tell them?
China number one. Actually, can I change the answer? that's literally
China
the
number
first
one.
thing.
Drop.
That's the first thing that came to my mind. No, but I'm sticking with that.
Okay.
You're gonna stick with China number one?
Ah, dude, my parents would be so disappointed in me though. Dude, but that's but that is the first thing that came to my mind. So
I mean, that's what you said. Says
stick with
you can't like catch it and bring it back. It's out.
Yeah, it's already out there.
Is there anything you would like to add though? If you don't want to, that's okay.
And then he was shot.
No, that's it.
Very good.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, Sam. We hope you stop by again on Audio Pong. And check us out on Audio Pong on any of the platforms you can find. You just have to search Audio Pong Podcast. Even in a Google search will come up.
Yeah, you can go through Google even, you'll find us.
We come up number one,
pretty
yeah.
high on the search engines now.
So thankfully, yeah, we're in charge of the name at last. You can find us on Twitter and TikTok as well. And I use Spotify, but most people seem to favor Apple. But you can literally find us on just about any,
Really?
Yeah, just about any.
For it though.
For what?
Using Apple Music.
Oh yeah, for podcasts and stuff.
No, just like for in general use. It's like a daily
I don't make fun of
basis at
Apple
this
people. I
point,
make
man.
fun of Pandora people, and I.
Okay, that one you don't even get a chance at making like you just lose your friends if you got Pandora, man.
That's like Well, you know what? That reminds me of like when I was a teenager and like we'd be going to like, hanging out at different like malls or places, restaurants and shit. And
About the Pandora, baby.
well, no, just like music in general, like whatever music you listen to, like there were certain like groups that just never really like got along or clashed and shit.
Yeah.
It was kind of a weird thing, but that's how we are with tribal. Yeah, that's all I've got for now. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Mark.
And thank you, Sam.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, gay.
Dinosaur.